Juan, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to today's last part of the meeting of the Boston Public Facilities Commission. Thank you.
Good morning again, Commissioners. This meeting is being recorded, broadcast live. Colleen, if you would please take the roll call of the meeting participants.
Thank you, TT. Participants, please unmute your device and confirm your presence when I call your name. Beginning roll call with the Commission. Catherine Craven, Chair.
Present.
Larry Mamoli, Commissioner.
Present.
TT Lee, Legal Advisor.
Present.
Catherine Pendleton, Article Clerk.
Present.
Next, for the Public Works Department, Joseph Fiore, Principal Bridge Engineer with P Public Works.
Present.
Brian Valancourt, Project Manager, Planning and Permitting Department, AECom.
Present.
I'll read for the record the remainder of the individuals who are in attendance but will not need to be presenting in today's meeting. Attendees do not need to unmute your device. Catherine Klein, Esquire, Shareholder, KP Law. Michael Orenberger, Project Manager, Benesh. This concludes roll call. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Vote number 1 is being presented by Joseph Fleury, Principal Bridge Engineer with the Public Works Department, and Brian Valancourt, Project Manager for the Planning and Permitting Department of AECom. This is a request for an order of taking for a temporary construction easement concerning the Public Works Department's North Washington Street Bridge Replacement Project. The temporary construction easements will be located at 226 and 234 Causeway Street, also known as TE2, and 1 Chelsea Street, also known as temporary easements TE10, TE11, and TE13. Joseph and Brian, would you please present your vote request?
Good morning. Hello, I'm Joe Fleury with Boston Public Works. I'm here before the Commission today to obtain a taking for temporary easements to facilitate the construction of the new North Washington Street Bridge. I'm joined by Brian Valancourt with AECom, our right-of-way consultant, Mike Orenberger of Alpha Benesh, the designer of record for the bridge, and Katie Klein of KP Law. Thanks to the Commissioners for having us, and thank you to the PFC staff for guiding us through this process. The project in question is a complete replacement of the city-owned North Washington Street Bridge. This replacement is a collaboration between the city, Mass DOT, and the Federal Highway Administration. The new bridge will feature wide sidewalks, cycle tracks, an inbound bus lane, and 4 general use travel lanes and some landscaping. Colleen or Catherine, can you put up the presentation? Here's just a aerial of the new bridge. Can you go to the next slide? So here's an aerial of where we're at today. Just a little background. Boston Public Works was before the Commission in August of 2017 to obtain the original temporary construction easements, and last month to obtain easements at 2 other to reobtain easements at 2 other properties. We had originally obtained 5-year easements with an expected 4-year construction duration. So that was in August of 2017. The notice to proceed from the state DOT, who's administering the construction, was given to the contractor a year later in August of 2018. This delayed notice to proceed and construction delays have required us to come back before PFC to obtain these new easements at 4 privately owned parcels, 2 property owners today and the 2 from last month's meeting. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of work that's been done to date. We've installed a temporary vehicular and pedestrian bridge to the west Charles River side of the old structure. We demolished most of the old structure, including the piers. New construction in the water, including deep foundations and piers. 60% of the new structural steel has been erected. And as part of that structural steel inspection, the state found 52 cracks in the vertical welds between the steel members. Next slide, please. This is just showing a couple photos of those cracks in the steel that were found in October of 21 by Mass DOT. Next slide, please. So this is a little bit of the corrective action plan that we discussed last month. MassDOT, in coordination with the city and the contractor, have developed this plan to address the cracks and ensure the bridge performs well through its full intended service life. I won't get into all the info here, but I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards if there are any. Next slide, please. The contractor is actively working on this corrective action plan with the intent of completing all the work described in it later this month into early next month in January. Since the hearing last month, MassDOT has given the contractor permission to restart regular contract work in addition to working towards this corrective action, completing this corrective action. Schedule-wise, traffic is currently scheduled to switch to the new bridge in December of next year. We will continue to have one sidewalk, now flipped to the harbor side, and continue to have 3 lanes of vehicular traffic. This will allow us to complete work where the temporary bridge currently lands on the north end side of the river. There will be some in-water work, demolition, foundations, and some final tie-ins. The bridge should be fully open to users at the end of 2024 with the contract complete, punch list items, landscaping, that sort of thing in early spring 2025 and turned back over to the city. Next slide, please. Here's just a rendering of the new completed bridge with those wide sidewalks, cycle tracks, bus lane, and 4 general use traffic lanes. With that, I'll turn it over to Brian Valancourt with AECOM to walk through the easements themselves.
Thank you, Joe, and good morning, commissioners. Next slide, please. As Joe mentioned, there are 4 temporary construction easements associated with 2 privately owned parcels, and these are in the exact same location, size, shape, and intended use for the purposes of the easements, as was presented before the commission back in 2017. The easement term is for 5 years, and that's at the request of MassDOT. And then as far as due diligence and the process that we've employed is a fully FHWA under the Uniform Act of 1970. We're also fully compliant with Massachusetts General Law 79 and the PFC's Enabling Act. During the course of construction, the city held a total of 6 meetings over the past 4 years to keep the public informed, and they ranged from on-site gatherings before the pandemic to virtual public meetings during the pandemic. And then in October of this year, 2 more public meetings were held to update the public on the status of the current construction and what's planned on going forward. The outreach that we've undertaken for each property owner, they were contacted by mail, in person, or via email starting in July of this year. All mailings have been sent via certified mail, and the right-of-way team has made at least 3 contacts with each property owner, either in person, over the phone, or via email, and in many cases, we've actually had more than 3 contacts. We've discussed with them the easement process, their rights, the overall project, the project status, and the nature of the work in the temporary easement areas, the purpose and location of the temporary easements, and likely construction duration, coordination, and access coordination. We've hired 2 appraisers to conduct the appraisals. They are Massachusetts licensed appraisers, and they, in the course of conducting the appraisals, they note that the property values have increased significantly in the corridor. They range from approximately $100 per square foot back in 2017 to $260 per square foot in 2022 on the left-hand side or the north side of the river, and up to $270 per square foot on the right-hand side. As was in 2017, these easements are non-exclusive. And if we go to the next slide, I'll review the individual easements with you. The first easement is a TE2, is a temporary construction easement for bridge wing wall modifications. It's located at 226 to 234 Causeway Street, and it's approximately 251 square feet in size. This easement was originally valued at $10,200 in 2017, and due to the increase in property values and resulting appraisals, it's now valued at $26,100. Next slide, please. There's 3 easements, and we'll proceed from right to left across the building face. The next easement is TE10 at 1 Chelsea Street. It's 782 square feet, and it's for sidewalk construction, so the sidewalk can be brought back right up to the front face of the building. Next slide, please. Proceeding along the face of the building, the next easement, temporary easement, is TE13 of 5 square feet. And once again, it's so that sidewalk construction can carry right up to match the front face of the building and match all the decorative concrete and sidewalk that they have there. Next slide, please. The last easement is TE13, which wraps around the building face, and that's 95 square feet, and once again, is for sidewalk construction. The value of these 3 easements at this property was $35,000 in 2017, and the current value is $86,200 in 2020. This concludes this portion of the presentation, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, Commissioner Morley?
Sorry, Larry.
I'm sorry,
Can you
I'm
unmute yourself?
unable to hear.
Sorry about that. Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it.
Vote number 1 is hereby approved. This concludes the agenda for Public Works for today's meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Meeting
you.
is
Thank you,
adjourned.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, TT. Thanks, Colleen. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.